like Henry Rollins band.
Rollins, yeah. Doesn't work stuff.
All right, so good morning, everyone. This is a new endeavor for us. We're going to start podcasting a lot more, and the idea came about because, one, I really like podcasts. They're super cool. And two, we always have these really interesting conversations, and Phoenix especially has amazing input on alchemy, herbalism, herbal alchemy, biodynamics, aquaponics, all of that stuff. All of his interests, which, in our personal life, that's what we like to talk about. And that would be cool just to kind of share some of those thoughts, spread those ideas out there, and do it in a format that everyone could consume easily, right on Facebook.
Yeah, participate in.
So we have a working title. It's called Morning Herbal Alchemy, which is kind of lame, but we'll think of a better name as we go on.
And if you have suggestions, please post it in the comments below.
Yeah. I'm looking at that camera. I should be looking at this camera, though. Talk to all the Facebookers.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get started with it. We're in the Niyama Herbal Alchemy Lab. You can't see it, but back there is our plant wall, which is super awesome. And it's actually loaded up with all of Phoenix's tinctures that he brought in from Utah. So it's literally years and hours of work and labor that go into these hundreds of different tinctures that he made over there. And we just have tons of cool plants. So the space is just infused with plants, herbal medicine, all that stuff. So just a really, really good energy to talk about all of this kind of stuff. And I'd like to kick it off by introducing you to a few of our friends we have joining us. I don't know if you could see them, but we got a little pitcher plant, and we got another little pitcher plant right there. And just a little fun fact about these pitcher plants, and I believe it's the rainforest in Borneo. They have a symbiotic relationship with a type of carpenter ant, which is also called a diving ant. So most insects, when they get on a pitcher plant, the surface is so slick they just fall right into its digestive juices sitting at the bottom of its little pitcher right here. And then it does that because it needs the nitrogen from those species to live and to thrive. But if too many insects get stuck in its trap, it putrefies and it starts dying. So what this diving ant does, it actually dives into the digestive juices of the pitcher plant, retrieves the insects out of it, and makes a nest about 5 to 10 centimeters away in the hollow tendrils of the pitcher plant. It takes them about 12 hours to drag the corpse of the other insects out. So the pitcher plant loves it because it doesn't die, doesn't putrefy, and diving ant loves it because it gets free food all the time. So symbiotic relationships are some of the coolest things, in my opinion, that exist in nature, and they're found everywhere, in the oceans, rainforests, in your own home.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of that stuff going on, dogs and humans.
In your yard, as long as you're not poisoning it all off.
Right. Probably going to share a lot of little fun facts throughout the segment here, but these guys are joining us. And right to the side here, we just did a distillation yesterday, essential oil distillation of black peppercorns. And these are two essential glassware pieces. And Phoenix could probably speak to what these guys do right here.
Sure, yeah. So yesterday when we were doing...
I'll be your Vanna White.
Yeah. Yesterday when we were doing our distillations, we wanted to try to use a couple of different glass apparatus to extract our essential oils. So one of the vessels that we used was this. And these are relatively easy to obtain on places like eBay and even on Amazon. But the bottom piece right down here is called a boiling flask, and this is a 2-arm boiling flask. It's got a 2440 ground glass joint up at the top, a feminine ground glass joint. It has another 1922 ground glass joint with a ground glass stopper in it, and that allows us to add more water to our system if we need to. The way we have it set up, we wouldn't need to, but that's what that does. This little piece here is in organic chemistry called a chromatography reservoir. And
sounds fancy.
Yeah, it sounds way fancy, and it's way too intense for the name. We call it a biomass flask. Bio meaning earth, mass meaning, of course, like space, volume, weight.
So simply put, it's where all of your material goes that you're distilling.
Precisely. It's where we put, the biomass flask is where we place all of our herbal material so that as we boil our water inside of our boiling flask, appropriately named as well, then that steam can pass through the biomass in the biomass flask. So again, appropriately named. And then this little top piece that we have is called a Clevenger apparatus, Clevenger. And what this allows us to do is to not only circulate all of the hydrosol, or the condensed steam that we are distilling out through the material, but it also allows us to capture our essential oils and just have them float gracefully and gently on the top of our water content the entire time that we are using our essential oils. And if you want to see a demonstration, you should definitely come, because we do demonstrations at almost all of our intro classes and other things, you know.
Totally. We're making a lot more videos and a lot more podcasts, a lot more Facebook Live posts too, that we'll be doing different distillations and just showing off a little bit what we do in the lab here, because it's really cool stuff, and it shows everyone how easy it is to, not always so easy, but how accessible it is to make your own herbal medicine.
Exactly. It's very accessible.
So I'll set that off to the side. And one thing that Phoenix and I do, and I can thank him for actually introducing me to a lot of the ingredients that go inside of it, is these morning tonics as part of our morning rituals that we do to kind of start the day off on the right foot. So my tonic in particular that I usually use, it's not here today, but that's just loaded with so much good stuff, and we'll dive into that on another day. But I'll let Phoenix introduce what he made here and talk about the ingredients, and then we'll drink some.
Cool. Yeah, this is one of the signature beverages that I've been making for a long time.
I love the name.
This is called Up Goji. And basically what it's designed to do is to give you a very gentle yet entirely natural energetic boost without any sort of stimulants or even things like ginseng. And we include golden berries, goji berries, also goji berry extract, raw honey, and then the juice and the essential oil of lemons. And it's really important that when you do this, you're using organic lemons, and ideally using spring water as well, because it's a living water. So that's what we have today, is a spring water tonic. It's nice and warm, that has all of those ingredients, and it tastes basically like a goji berry lemonade. And its purpose is actually to help detoxify the liver and bring about a natural bit of energy, just because of the purification of the blood and the movement of life force. You know, clean blood to the rest of the organs helps kind of rejuvenate our system and provide a nice boost.
Now you also make a powder version of this too.
Yeah,
talk about that?
Exactly. So basically we take this very same liquid as it is here, we strain it and dehydrate it slowly, and eventually everything reduces down to a pitch, and then we put it into another very specialized equipment to dehydrate it again even further, to evaporate all the moisture out of like the honey and other things like that. And that evaporates down to a fine powder that then you can scoop and put into water and rehydrate at a later time. So like if you're going camping or something, it's
super convenient.
It's super convenient. Instead of taking all of the raw ingredients with you, just take a little bit of powder in a small mason jar or something.
Yeah, it's really tasty too, the powder version. I was using that for a few months, and if you guys would like to see us start producing that, selling it, or want access to it, just feel free to send us a message, communicate with us in some way, and yeah, we're totally open to different feedback and product ideas. So I think this would be a really cool one.
Exactly.
So without further ado,
plants to the people.
Plants to the people. You want to do the honors, sir?
Sure, go ahead and...
I'm thirsty.
Let's do it. There you go, man.
Thanks. So cheers. Ooh.
Whoa, hell.
Woo!
Cheers.
This is Get Up and Goji. Get Up and Spilly.
Yeah. Getting spilly up in here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate on the taste. It is like a goji berry lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
It's refreshing. And do you serve it warm or hot, cold?
So
ice cold?
if I take it in the morning, I usually...
0 degrees Kelvin.
Yeah, exactly. 0 degrees Kelvin is the preferred temperature.
I don't want molecules to move in this thing.
Exactly. No, in the morning I like to serve this warm because, taking a warm honey lemon water very first thing in the morning gets the whole system going and is really good for the body anyway. But adding a little bit of goji to it really adds some vitamin A, some critical proteins, some other important nutrients and polysaccharides that the body can use, but still use in a fast-like state.
How would you define polysaccharides? Because for some people it might be like a really intimidating term. They don't know exactly what it is.
Sure, yeah. So polysaccharides are one group of materials that can be extracted and identified through chromatography in modern organic chemistry. So there are things like alkaloids, there are things like terpenes and terpenoids, there are groups of things like polysaccharides. And so polysaccharides typically tend to break down into like the usable medicinal starches and sugars of something. Like when we boil down mushroom materials for a really long time, a lot of the fibers break down and they turn into or convert the polysaccharide content into a medicinal content.
And the polysaccharides are what your body will start turning into energy.
Yeah, I mean,
in some way.
Yeah, your body uses almost anything as energy because
Right.
everything is energy. But yeah, it uses it in such a way that it can have adaptogenic effects or anti-cancerous effects and different kinds of things like that. Polysaccharides, depending on which
So good.
polysaccharides are contained in there, can have an entirely different effect. It's just like kind of using the term alkaloids, which is another subset of molecular grouping that can be extracted from things.
Right. Awesome.
A simple Google search on polysaccharides could probably give you charts and diagrams and help explain more if you're not familiar with that term.
And just knowing you, I would say Goji Berry is one of your favorite things to work with. You put it in a lot of stuff.
It is. It's one of the things that causes people to be happy if they take Goji Berry regularly.
Does it help to balance, regulate neurotransmitters as well?
Not sure, man.
Okay.
Not sure. I look at it from the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, where Goji has a lot of qi and shen qualities.
So it's a Jing restorative berry?
Yeah, I don't know about a restorative, but definitely a tonic. It helps tonify. Yeah.
And we could always use more tonification.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, cheers, man. I think it's going to wrap up this segment. Nice and short and quick. Yeah, if you guys dig it, want to hear more information or anything like that, just feel free to send us a message, comment on this video, all that kinds of stuff. So,
Absolutely. Thanks for
cheers,
joining us.
dude.
Here, let's cheers like
right here so we don't spill.
Yeah, there we go.